obviously exciting to get basketball season and football season merging. Exciting time. Obviously, this week being homecoming week, there's a lot going on here. I want to remind you all of men's soccer tonight, volleyball on Thursday, followed by hoops in Huntington. Huge event as we introduce our basketball teams, and obviously homecoming parade, football game, and getting some wins this week. But we'll kick things off with Marshall men's basketball coach Corny Jackson. Once he gets done with the opening portion of what he says, we'll go to the question period. Raise your hand and we'll get the mic to you, okay? Thank you all.
Good morning, fellas. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Everybody's good. We're excited. You know what? It seems like just yesterday we were talking about the start of the season last year. This is obviously the fun part for us. We lost 4 starters. We lost 3 rotation guys with the loss of the Gibbs twins and then Ryan Nutter, who's medically retired. But we have guys like Wyatt Fricks, Jalen Spear, Kai Spears, those guys back. A lot of new faces, all right? A lot of new faces. That's the name of the game, but that's the fun part right now is putting the pieces in place to have a successful year. So we're excited.
Coach, I guess could you walk through some of the guys you got in the recruitment period and everything, just what you guys were after and all of that good stuff?
Well, we try to put a premium on winners, guys that came from winning programs. I felt we did that, obviously with Andrew and Caleb. They won 33 games last year in the JUCO ranks. Shamari Hughie, he won 30-plus games at the JUCO ranks. Matt Van Komen is 7'4", so you can't teach height. Bryce Slay, who played for Tamara's dad in high school last year, had a very successful year. So we wanted to bring in guys who are winning, who come from winning programs, and I feel we executed that.
Corny, the old saying, what a difference a year makes from one season to the next as a head coach. What's your comfort zone at this time compared maybe to last year?
Mark, well, I say what a difference a day make, right? Because today is, what's today, Tuesday? Today is Tuesday. I was expecting, me and my wife were expecting a son on the 20th of November, and he came 2 days ago. So you asked about what's my comfortability up here coaching basketball. I got to get comfortable being a dad again, right? I have 24-year-old twins, and now I just have a newborn. So it's a process. You know what? You learn every day. I feel that when you stop learning, you might as well go sit off in the sunset. So it's a process because each team is different. You know, am I more comfortable? Yes, but I don't do well comfortable, right? I don't operate well in comfortability. So I want to be uncomfortable a little bit. I want to push our guys to be uncomfortable a little bit because, again, I believe that when you're a little bit uncomfortable and you have to operate and you're not in your comfort zone, I'm better. And I want our team to play like that. I want our team to play on the edge. So ask me 10 games in, how I feel in terms of being comfortable, and I'll probably have the same answer for you.
Yeah. Congratulations, by the way.
Thanks, appreciate that.
Yes, indeed, Coach. I think you should have patented that term, speed dating, that you talk about with the transfer portal. You got so many new guys. How do you make them feel like this is a place they want to be, this is a family, and get that chemistry going before you guys ever get on the court?
Yeah, Keith, we talked about it, right, being speed dating. It really is. You talk to a guy for 2 or 3 days, and then you try to get him here on a visit, right? You talk. It used to be, you had a get-to-know process. Now it's 2 days. Let's talk to you on Monday. We want to have you in here on a Wednesday, and then hope to have you signed on a Friday. So you guys do that. Our fans do that. We still believe in our people and our fans. And when we bring guys to Huntington, we had 2 visitors this weekend. When we bring guys to Huntington with their families, they can see what Marshall's about, right? So that makes our job easier. Now with the revenue share and NIL, that's a little challenging sometimes, or can be. But at the end of the day, I sell the people, and I explain to them that people make places. and I will put our people up in Huntington at Marshall University and our fan base against anyone in the country.
Coach, I want to build off a little bit what Mark asked you. As a coach, what do you work on for yourself on the off season? What were you happy with that you want to continue to do and improve on? And maybe what were you not happy with as a coach that you wanted to work on to get better?
Right. Well, you know what? It's one of those things, Paul, where again, I feel if you're not learning, if you're not trying to learn, you're not trying to grow, like I said earlier, go sit off on the sunset. But I worked on, offensive stuff, defensive stuff, study different teams, study some NBA teams as well as some college teams. I had our video guy at the time pull up a lot of film. So I watched a lot of film. A couple Division II teams, they're averaging 109 points. Now, are we going to average 109? I don't know. You ask Wyatt. But I studied those teams and studied winning teams. I'm kind of a geek like that, right? I'll study a baseball program if it's successful. I studied a few years ago. I studied Bill Belichick when he was with New England. So again, it's just a lot of studying, a lot of learning, a lot of growing. I was happy with the way we finished last year. Again, everybody got kind of worried at the beginning of the season, but when you add 8, 9 new faces and you're trying to teach them different things, right? Because we had several guys, the twins, they came from Grace Christian, and they had been at that school for 5 years. So now you untangling everything and they had success, but our system is different. No different than this team. We have 8, 9 new guys from all different places. So the summer is really important to us, and you have to untangle. And Wyatt, who's been here 5 years, he has to help those guys understand our culture and how we do things at Marshall. And it's something as simple as a ball screen. We teach our bigs to run out of ball screens. Well, their whole lives they've been taught to open up. The average fan may not see that, right? The average person may not see that. So it's something as simple as that. You're talking about a Matt Van Komen who is 25 years old. So for 20 years he's been taught to open up. Well, he gets to Marshall, and in 4 months we're saying, hey, we don't play that way. We run out. So it's a process, but this is the fun part, is putting the team together, building team chemistry. It's no different than last year. We want our team to play hard. We want them to play physical. I told the guys in practice yesterday, I said, you know what, man, I don't like being around guys that don't play hard. I really don't. I like guys who play hard and play with an edge, right? I just had a son 2 days ago. If he decides to play basketball and he doesn't play hard and don't play with an edge, I won't like him either.
Hey, Coach. Previous interview with Wyatt, he said this team is more athletic than last year. How do you feel it's going to help you guys on the offensive side of the ball this year?
Is that what Wyatt said?
Yeah.
Wyatt said we're more athletic?
Yeah. How do you feel it's going to help you guys on the offense, though?
You know what? I'll give you this. I think and I loved our guys last year. Obviously, that was my first team. Talked to those guys. Talked to Obina, who's in France. Talked to Mike Dawson, who's in Germany. Talked to Nate, who's in London. I've talked to the twins. I have 2 wedding invitations on my refrigerator right now from Jake Gibbs and Nate Martin. So I love those guys. But I do feel this team this year shoots the ball better. Are we more athletic? Maybe in spots. But hopefully shooting, right, because it spreads the floor. And then we have Matt, who's a huge lob threat, who's come a long way offensively since he's been here. So he garners a lot of attention inside, all right? And now he's able to kick it out to Wyatt and Caleb and Wilson. And, everyone on our team can shoot the 3 this year, which is exciting.
Kind of similar question to that. Could you give us, a player or two that you think is kind of under the radar that people in Huntington might not know of but will know very soon?
I like all of our new guys. To be honest with you, I think they'll like them all, really. Caleb Hollenbeck, he can really shoot the basketball. Wilson Dubinsky can shoot the basketball. Noah is doing well. So, I don't want to pinpoint one guy, because I think we have to do it together, right? And I don't want to get into the groove of we have to win as a team, right? We have to do everything as a team. We have to play as a team. We have to win as a team. We have to lose as a team. I think our fan base and the fans will like our ability to shoot the ball, because when you can shoot, you can go on a run, right? We have several guys who can hit 2, 3, 4, 5 threes in a row, and that changes the game, and it's a fun game to watch.
Coach, how does the league look this year? I know you look ahead, but is it obviously it's always a very competitive. What do you think about the Sun Belt this year?
I have no idea.
You worried about yourself?
Yeah, I have no idea. You know what? I'm locked in on trying to get us better. I know we lost the Sun Belt as a league, lost several players to different programs. So it's hard to tell. You know, you get asked that question a lot. It's not like the old days where you can kind of predict it. I mean, you look on everyone's roster and it's 8, 9. One team, 11 new guys. I mean, so it's hard to tell. You know, the challenging part is for every coach is getting everyone to gel, getting everyone to believe in one common goal. Because here's the deal in the transfer portal right now, you have guys coming. When they initially come, they come for themselves. They usually come for themselves. They come from what they can get, right? So that's their thought process. You know, when it used to be, hey, I'm going to Marshall because I love X, Y, Z. Now it's, I'm going to Marshall, okay, what can I get out of the deal? So the thing we try to do here is we understand that, all right? We address the elephant in the room, but at the same time, try to get those guys to buy into the one common goal, and that's playing here and being present here and doing everything they can to help the team win, right? Because we have several new guys on our roster right now, and we talked about it yesterday. Everyone wants to play 40 minutes, right? Everyone wants to play 40 minutes. You came to Marshall to play, all right? But we tip it up, first exhibition on the 21st, and not everyone's going to play 40 minutes, all right? So how is your attitude going to be then? How are you going to react then? All right, are you going to be a guy that works to stay ready? Or are you going to be a positive influence in the locker room? Or are you going to be a Debbie Downer? That's the thing when the season starts, you sometimes find out. So now that's another thing you have to address. So it's constantly evolving. It's constantly pivoting. It's constantly, you know, sometimes you're a coach, sometimes you're a counselor. But you know what? We signed up for it. I love it to the core. And obviously, I love being here at Marshall, love being home, and feel good about where we are as a team.
Coach, I wanted to ask you in terms of maybe compared to the past, you mentioned the amount of turnover that teams have. How important is like the internal recruitment nowadays to where you want to not only bring in new talent and evaluate that, but also, you know, make sure the guys that you have in hand are really good as well, right?
That's a great question. That's really important. Really important, especially when you have the right guys, right? When you have guys who, you know, are about the right things. The Wyatt Fricks, you know, the Jalen Spear, the Kai Spear. You know, we have several guys. Ryan Nutter is a student coach, you know, but he would have been a third-year player, so he understands the culture. Wyatt obviously has been here 5 years. He understands. He's made a huge jump in his leadership. Which I couldn't be more proud of, because Wyatt, when he first came here, got off to a rocky start, right? He got off to a rocky start, and I was calling his high school coach and complaining about Wyatt. And it's, you know, this is fun to me to see his growth. Now he's jumped into a leadership role. He's playing really well, and I have confidence that he'll keep that going. But that's important. You know, when you have the right guys, the right core guys who you can stay around your program and kind of lead, that's super important.
And corning off that, your coaching staff and just, you know, and how important they are, and you had a change there, and some good things happening there as well, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. You know what? I have a great staff. They make my job easier. They do a lot of things behind the scenes that may go unnoticed. We added Steve Snell, who's a familiar face to a lot of people around here. He actually coached me when I played for 3 years. Obviously, Rob and Adam has been here. We added Isaiah Carson from Southern Miss. He was a assistant coach there for 5 years. We added a new video guy. But those guys, you know what, it's fresh ideas. You know, obviously Coach Snell had been to the Final Four. Isaiah has won the Sun Belt regular season before. Our video guy, Matt, he came from Akron, where they went to the NCAA tournament 3 times. So those guys know what winning looks like. and that's important to me and our staff. But they do a great job. They do a great job in making my life easier. You know, just this weekend, my son, like I mentioned, came early, and I did all the things right. So my son, my wife wakes me up at 4 o'clock on Thursday and says I need to go to the hospital. Really? Yeah, I need to go to the hospital. So I said, my mother-in-law and my wife's stepdad comes in, and they just came in from Florida on Thursday. I said, you want me to wake your mom up? Yeah. I said, all right. So I'm rushing. We go to the hospital on Thursday. She has a regular doctor's appointment at 10 o'clock. They check her out. She goes to a regular doctor's appointment. And then I practice. I come to work. I leave the hospital, come to work. I practice. I call after practice. How are you feeling? Oh, I'm hurting. They said if I'm hurting any worse, go back. She goes back to the doctor. I'm in a recruiting meeting, and I'm doing a presentation with a mom and the kid. My phone rings. My mother-in-law said my wife is 3 centimeters dilated. I don't know the medical talk, right? So the mom hears me on the phone and said, "Oh, coach, she's about to have this baby." So, all right, well, let me finish this, and then I'll get to you, right? So I finished the meeting, and hung out with them, went to the hospital, and my staff, they handled the dinner because we had two families in. They handled the dinner. They kept me updated. They were nice enough to bring food to the hospital. And then Saturday at 5:50, my wife delivered our son, and I went up to the NICU, washed my hands, saw him, and I had another meeting at 9 o'clock. So I had to go meet with another recruit, the one that just got there later. Then we had practice. Then I hung out with them. Then I went to the football game for the first half, and then I went back to the hospital. And then my staff went to dinner, and hung out with the parents that night. So again, they make my job easier because we weren't expecting my son to come. He came. And my staff handled their business. Now, if those kids don't sign, that's a different story. But they do a great job.
What's your son's name?
Cruz Monterio Jackson. My name is Cornelius Monterio Jackson. Yes, sir.
We have anything further for Coach Jackson?
How big was he?
He was 6 weeks early. He was 5 pounds, 8 ounces. He was 19 inches long. So hopefully he's a hooper, and I'll be coaching him class of what? I don't know, 2050? Appreciate it. Any more questions? Appreciate you guys, and look forward to seeing you this season. Yep.
Next up, we've got a guy that I joke around. It felt like 10 years that he's been here, but a lot of fun watching him grow, as Coach said. Forward, Wyatt Fricks.
How y'all doing? Good.
Wyatt, just kind of give us a rundown of the new team and how you're sort of I hate to say elder statesman, but now you're the kind of one of the leaders. Talk a little bit about your role now and the young guys.
I mean, it's like what Corny said, trying to grow into that leadership role is definitely a change. Being behind Obina the last 4 years, I saw how he handled things, how he went about things. So just kind of trying to follow in his footsteps, kind of how he led. Same with Nate, same with Mike last year. So that definitely a change, but it's a change I wanted. It's a change I wanted to step into, so I've really been enjoying it.
Wyatt, obviously, there's a lot of things here at Marshall that you really like that has, had you keeping this as your career. This is where you've been the whole time. That's you won't see that every day now.
No, I love it. I love the city of Huntington. I love the people. Corny brings in great guys every year. D'Antoni brought in great guys. So just having those people around you, that's really what makes the city for me.
Can you just talk about your development as a player, what you've seen out of yourself and your growth over the years?
I mean, I came in, I probably got here, I was $180 soaking wet. I put on about 25, 30 pounds since I got here, so that's probably been the biggest change for me. But then just trying to develop my game, whether that's working inside, whether that's developing my three-point shot a little bit more. So that sort of thing. And then, like I said, being in the weight room, getting stronger. I mean, it's a physical league, so I got to be physical.
Coach said we had to ask, so how many points you could score a game?
I I'd like to score as many as I can, but all that matters is getting wins in the win column. So that's what matters to me.
And seriously, just build off of that as well. For you, what's maybe changed from year to year with Coach Jackson, being the head coach now? What have you seen in yourself and him?
A big part of his emphasis is just the toughness, playing hard. And it's like what he said: if his son don't play hard, he's not gonna like him. And it was a true quote. He said that yesterday in practice. So that's really what it is. He still wants us to play fast, get the ball up, push it. But then on defense, it's just having that pride, getting stops, being physical, that sort of thing.
You mentioned just, with OB and his leadership and everything, could you talk a little bit about what maybe some of those guys before you brought to the table that you've kind of taken from and now apply yourself?
I mean, it was really just kind of their mindset, their everyday focus, whether that be Tavion, who in the locker room was one of the funniest guys. You go on the court, though, and he's locked in, he's telling you, he's helping you out. So that's really a big part, especially having so many new guys, just trying to help them understand how we play, how we do things on and off the court. So.
You guys will kind of get it started Thursday at the thing downtown, which has become kind of a cool event. Talk a little bit about how much fun that is. Different change of venue, the scenery is different, the dunks are different. How much fun is that?
No, it's cool. It's just cool being out in the city, people coming out. It really shows the support. It's just a lot of fun being out in the community. It's different than just being in the cam, having a dunk contest, 3-point contest. So it gets a little cold sometimes. We'd rather bring a hoodie, but no, it's fun. It's a cool environment. Coach
mentioned a lot of new faces. I guess could you walk around a little bit? Just anybody sticking out to you so far, or fun to play with, or hard to guard, anything like that?
Matt Van Komen, I mean, he sticks out everywhere he goes, So no, he's definitely a pain to guard, and I'm a love being able to play with him every day against other people. Noah, he's a great point guard. He's learning the offense more and more, and every day he's getting better. Caleb, Wilson, they're phenomenal shooters, so that makes playing with them easier. So those are probably new guys that really stick out to me.
All right. Anything further for Wyatt? All right. We'll let those guys get.
All right, thank you.